Hello, Network to Code community. My name is Tim Fayola. I'm your developer advocate here at Network to Code. Today we're going to be talking about the Nautobot version control app. Specifically, we're going to be demonstrating how to interact with the Nautobot version control app programmatically. This is the fourth video in a series of demonstration videos intended to demonstrate the capabilities of Nautobot running the version control app to the larger community. This is the agenda we'll be following for today's demonstration. First, we'll take a quick look at the Nautobot API page with the version control app installed, and we'll see what capabilities, what additional calls the version control app adds to the API library. Next, we'll demonstrate a few Postman calls where we'll get a device from a non-main branch. We'll get all the different branches, and then we'll create a pull request using a Postman call. Then we'll move on to straight Python, where we will update a pull request. And by update a pull request, we will modify the status and add a comment or a pull request review to the pull request. And then finally, we'll wrap it up with a demonstration of PyNautobot. We'll go ahead and get a device from a non-main branch. We'll verify that the device does not exist in the main branch, and then we'll add a new device to the non-main branch. So this is a good slate of content, and let's go ahead and get started. Let's start out by taking a look at the Swagger API docs to see what additional APIs the version control app adds to Nautobot. Here I'm running a Nautobot instance running the version control app. If I scroll down to the bottom of the page here and click on the API link, down here, that will take me to the Swagger API docs for this Nautobot instance. So in order to find the API calls enabled by the version control app, I'm going to search for Dolt. Now, I searched for Dolt, and this took me to all the calls that are enabled by the version control app. As a word of advice, these paths are going to change. Right now, we see Dolt in all the paths, and I searched for Dolt. That is likely going to change to something like version-control. So instead of Dolt, you'd see something like version-control in the path. So the paths are likely to change, and they may have already changed by the time you're watching this video. Regardless, for the purposes of this demo, we'll take a look here. And you can see there are 36 instances of version control app calls enabled. So that's a very good amount of capability that the version control app brings to Nautobot for a programmatic interaction. And we'll be looking at a few of these in the later demos in this video. Let's go ahead and start the Postman demos. So to level set, I'm going to first take you back to my Nautobot instance. You can see that right now up here in this browser, the active branch is the Atlanta Leaf Augment branch. I have another browser open as well where the main branch is active. Notice that Atlanta Leaf 9 exists in this Atlanta Leaf Augment branch, but does not exist in the exist in the main branch, which is your production branch. Great. Let's go ahead and query now for Atlanta Leaf 9. In order to query Nautobot running version control in a specific branch, you need to add the Dolt branch key to your header along with the value of the name of the branch. This will tell the API to query Nautobot in a specific branch. By default, it's going to be the main branch. So by adding this Dolt branch key value pair, you can change the branch that you're querying for. And let me show you what I mean. So first here, I will query for the Atlanta Leaf Augment branch for a device named Atlanta Leaf 9. Okay, there we go. Here is our information returned from our query. And here is the information about Atlanta Leaf 9. Now, let's go ahead and remove the dolt branch. We're going to do the exact same call again, but we're going to remove the dolt branch argument from the header. And if we send this again, now by default, it will query the main branch. And in the main branch, like we just saw in the UI, that device does not exist. So to query for in a specific branch, go ahead and add the dolt branch keyword with the name of the branch as the value. The next thing we're going to do here is we're going to query Nautobot for all the branches that exist right now in the instance of Nautobot running version control. So we'll go ahead and here's the call. It's plugins, dolt, and then branches. And again, keep in mind that dolt in the path is likely going to change. So we'll go ahead and send this query. And this gives us all our branches that are currently open right now, or excuse me, that currently exist right now. We have Atlanta Leaf Augment, we have main, we have test, and a couple others. Now, finally, we're going to do a post call in Postman to actually create something in Postman. And the object we'll be creating right now is a pull request. So if we go back over to our Nautobot instance and go to version control and look at our existing pull requests, we have 2 open. Let's go back here and take a look at the body, this body information here that we're including with the pull request. Excuse me, that we're including with the call. We're giving the pull request a title. We're giving it a state. And in this example, we're going to give it a state of 0, which means just in review. We will cover more about the different states in a later demo in this video. But for now, we're going to keep the pull request in review state. We'll specify the branch, the source branch for the pull request, and the destination branch, which will, in most cases, be main, and it is main here as well. We'll do a description where we'll just say PR created by Postman. And then the creator, this is the user, the UUID for the user. And in my case here, it is this value here. So let's go ahead and run this call. Okay, that didn't take long. We have the information we have here is gives information about the pull request, but we'll go ahead and just refresh our page over here and see that the pull request did indeed get created. So this wraps up the Postman demonstration in this video. Before we get started with the Python test, I just want to revisit Postman real quick because I just remembered that you also have this capability here in Postman to look at your code, to look at your call in whatever code you want. You can look at it in curl. You can look at it in Python as well. If you do, like, for instance, the request module. So it'll give you nice code output for the calls you craft in Postman, which is super cool. And I did, in fact, use some of this capability to craft this next script that I'm going to demo. And this is a Python script. So this Python script is going to create a pull request review. So in the prior Postman call, we created a pull request. So this script is going to update that with that pull request and add a pull request review to it. So let's go ahead and get started. Here's my script. I'm not going to go too much into the code. You can examine it here. It's pretty simple. You see the URL. You see just the authorization in the headers and the content type. Let's look at the state again. In the prior example, using Postman, we put the pull request into a state of 0, which is in review. You can change it to whatever state you want. 1 is approved and 2 is blocked. And for this demo, maybe I just put it in blocked and save that. The reviewer is my user ID. And the pull request, This is the UUID. This is the ID of the pull request that we just created. So when we created the pull request in Postman, we got an ID back of the pull request. We're using that ID here to update that pull request. And then here we have our JSON data, which is going to amount to our payload. Then we'll have the uh, actual call down here, which is a post. So without further ado, I will go ahead and run this, and then we'll take a look at the results. Okay, we got some content back. Let's go ahead and take a look at what happened in Nautobot. So let's go ahead and go to our same PR we created earlier. All right, let's take a look at the reviews tab. Now, also first note that the PR is in a blocked status. And as you recall, I put the PR into state 2, which is blocked. So we know that, that our call worked. If we go to reviews now, we can see that our pull request review is in a blocked state. Excuse me, our pull request review put the pull request into a blocked state and gave us our comment down here as well. This PR review is from a Python script. So this section of the demo covering the Python is complete. Next up, we'll take a look at how you can use PyNautobot in Python to interact with the version control app as well. Now let's go ahead and get to the PyNautobot portion of this demo. So this first script I'm showing you here is a Python script, and it is using the PyNautobot Python package to interact with the Nautobot instance this time. I'm not going to go through the script line by line, but I will point out the major parts of the script. We'll be querying the Atlanta Leaf Augment non-main branch for a device with the name of Atlanta Leaf 9, which we've seen already does exist. Now, the main part of this script, or the most important part, probably for our purposes here, is to note line 12. This line 12 here is what makes PyNautobot query the Atlanta Leaf Augment branch instead of the main branch. If line 12 was not here, this script would query the main branch because the main branch is the default branch. So this line right here is what changes the query's branch to Atlanta Leaf Augment. Okay. So a couple other things to point out. I have two calls here to determine if the device exists. This first call here is will return the device name if it exists, or it returns none otherwise. Then down here, there's a call. We change the header now and change the branch back to main to query. And then we make another call, and device exists main will return the device name if it exists, or none if the device does not exist in that branch. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get to this script and the output. So we'll go ahead and run the script. Okay, and here we have our results. On the Atlanta Leaf Augment branch, the device exists because we got the device name back. On the main branch, we got none because the device does not exist on that branch. Okay, now let's move on to do something a little bit more. We're going to go ahead and create a brand new device on a non-main branch in Nautobot. So a lot of this script setup remains the same. We have the session header here where we're adding the dolt branch name key value. And we're going to create a new device called Atlanta Leaf 10. Okay, and before we do that, let's go ahead and take a look at our Atlanta devices. We see Atlanta Leaf 9, which does exist, but there's no Atlanta Leaf 10. So let's go ahead and we'll run this script. Before we do that, I just want to point out this section here. This is the call in PyNautobot, a standard call to create a new device. Okay. All right. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and run this script. Okay, we went ahead and got output there. And that output, by the way, came on from this line 34 right here. If you want to go back and check in the script and see where that came from. We're using the branch name, the device exists, which returns the name, and to find the, just to mark the date the device was created, we're using the created method or created call off of the new device. Let's go ahead and refresh our page now in Nautobot. And again, we are on the Atlanta Leaf Augment branch. And here we go. We have a new device, Atlanta Leaf 10, and it is in planned status like we specified in the payload. All right, this wraps up the PyNautobot portion of this demonstration video. In today's demo, we demonstrated that there are multiple ways to programmatically interact with Nautobot when it's running the version control app. In this video, we demonstrated Postman, pure Python, and Python using the PyNautobot package. This concludes this demonstration video. Thank you for your time and have a great day.